Hi friends, it's Lacey from Pandemonium Publishing House, and I'm excited to chat with you today and with author Tim Ford. We're going to do things a little bit differently. So in a couple of minutes, I am going to flip you around and you are going to be able to watch our Zoom interview. Okay, so Tim is going to be on shortly, and we're just getting that set up. So Instagram, for some reason, we can't get it to work on desktops or laptops, so I'm not sure kind of what the barrier is there. But we're going to get started in just a second, so I'm happy you're here. It is Thursday, so I hope everyone is having a great week. And in a second, I am going to flip you around so you can see Tim Ford. Tim, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello. I hope everyone can hear us online as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip around now so that we can see Tim.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, awesome. Excellent. I'm just hoping that everyone can hear you, so talk nice and loud for me because I can't put earphones in on either device. So nice and loud, okay?
You mean loud like when the phone rang here?
Yes. Loud like that, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so it's almost 5 o'clock, and we are going to be talking with author Tim Ford today, and we are going to start kind of from the beginning, because I know that we have new fans and readers and people who maybe haven't been exposed to your work yet, but I do want to tell you something really, really cool. So I had a conversation with one of our authors yesterday, and he said to me, I picked up one of Tim's books from the library, and, I started writing something completely different that I normally wouldn't, based on kind of what his work was like. And I was like, wow, that is so cool. That is such a cool compliment. So just know that you have inspired people to kind of, write in a completely different genre.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me feel good, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we're going to talk about you, and we are going to talk about your writing process and all of those great things. So I'm just going to turn up this volume here, and I just want to know from the beginning, maybe people who aren't familiar with this, how did you start the Tim Strongbow, oh my gosh, the Mitch Strongbow series? What was the inspiration? Okay.
So I've always enjoyed the movie Apocalypse Now. It's in my top favorite movies of all time. I always thought, what would Willard do, who was Martin Sheen's character, who ended up killing Colonel Kurt? What would he do once he came back home? He would never be the same. And I had this character, Mitch Strongbow, half Sioux Indian, half German, who has this crush on this Russian Jewish girl who he wants to ask out for a New Year's Eve party. Mm-hmm. So I sort of blended it both together. I had to work December 24, 25, 26 night shifts and back in 2005, and it was lonely leaving the family, coming into work.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what do I do? I felt so down that everybody's having all this Christmas festivities, and here I am alone for 12 hours.
Yeah.
3 nights in a row.
That's hard.
So I always had that character sort of in mind, so I sort of wrote over the weekend a 40 page, just Mitch asking out Natasha, and I sent it to one of the schedulers upstairs, Tom Barth, and he goes, this is really, really good. Expand on it. And I thought, okay, so I just kept expanding on it, and thoughts keep coming to me all the time, and I'm currently writing book 16.
Oh man, that is hard to even think about, having 16 books in a series and that it keeps going and there's still material there. I think it's important to kind of remind people that doesn't always happen. That's not something that's always going to be the case when you're writing a series. Now, speaking about that, did you know going in with the first book where the series would naturally end?
Not at all.
Okay.
No clue.
So how did you get to 16 books in terms of like, okay, now I know that this is over. There's nothing else the characters can say. They're done. There's nowhere to go from here. How did you get to that point? Where does that lead you? Do the characters tell you? Can you expand on that part of it for us? Like, as an author with 16 books in the series, how in the world do you figure out when it's finished?
I plan on having 3 different endings.
Oh, yes.
So whatever book you get, that's the ending that you're going to get. I don't want Hollywood ending where everybody falls in love and everything is Shangri-La and they hold hands going off into the sunset. Because if you know Mitch's character, nothing comes easy.
Right, absolutely. Okay, so we're not going to do any spoilers or anything like that, but what I am going to ask you to talk about in the most roundabout, vague way possible is, was there a character death that really, really was hard to do?
I could think of several.
Okay.
But for the bigger part of the book and the series, they had to die.
Uh-huh.
Because it's all building blocks onto why he became a career criminal.
Okay.
Why he wanted what pushed him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what was the inciting incident? Yeah.
Yes, there were several different characters. No one is safe. No one is safe in the series at all.
That's actually what I love.
Yeah, I don't want to keep people. Oh, well, this is my favorite. He won't touch this person, or he won't touch that person. No one. Yeah.
And you know what's really funny is that I actually really loved the fact that you killed off specific characters because you made me absolutely loathe them.
Yes, that's always a good thing too.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, go ahead, yes.
Yeah, some of them were really hard to write emotionally. Mm-hmm. Very, very hard to write emotionally. And it still, when I go back and I reread it, it still chokes me up.
Yeah. No, that's understandable for sure. And I think the most interesting thing is that like when you're writing these books, do you feel like the characters kind of tell you where to go? Do you have an outline? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how you keep the characters straight, all that kind of stuff. But are you in the camp of authors who say, you know what? The characters tell me the story. They reveal where they're going to go, and I'm just the vessel of which to share their story with.
100%. It's almost like as if I have lived their life, and I'm writing out exactly what happened to them.
Yeah.
A lot of times I do pen and paper for notes, and then once I start banging it off on the laptop, it just takes its own life.
Yes.
Its own form, and sometimes I'll go, wow. How come I didn't even think of that? But once you get that, it's almost like a manic high.
Mm-hmm. No, I could see that.
Go with it and you go with it.
Absolutely. So in regards to your characters, and you have a lot of supporting characters and people who have like been in the series over books and books and books and chapters. So how do you keep all of that information straight? Because as an author myself, closing the loops and like putting the finishing touches and bows on everything that needs to be resolved, I can't imagine having to do that for 16 books and keeping that information straight and not losing, a character here or there or putting in the wrong name or things like that. And I know that comes down to editing too, but how in the world do you keep these worlds clear? How do you keep where they are in the series? How do you keep the characters from not kind of running into other characters' voices and keep everyone unique?
So what I do at the end of first of all, each book is pen and paper.
Yes. Okay.
And once I've done my first edit, I write down every single note about that person.
Okay.
Like what they look like, what happens to them, and also for future reference too. So then I could always go back and when in doubt, Lisa Bacon. She's my go-to. Lisa, what about this character? And she knows exactly who, because she's read the book more than I have, actually. So it's good to have her as a reference library.
Yes, definitely. Now, how do you think your writing has changed from book 1 to book 16 at this point?
My biggest thing that I was able to improve is cliff. I try to have 4 cliffhangers per book. And you sort of have to keep Mitch not too bright because he doesn't have a lot of education.
Okay.
So from that aspect, it's kind of good that I can keep, I know how he thinks. But some of the legal stuff that's always a challenge, right?
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. So do you feel like as an author from book 1, you've kind of improved over the course of all of those books in terms of ideas and even like little things like punctuation and grammar and all that stuff that nobody really wants to deal with?
Yes, yeah, huge. So now I know where commas go. I learned how to properly spell then and there and they are. So that makes a huge difference, right?
Yeah, definitely.
It's absolutely huge.
Absolutely.
I definitely feel more confident writing.
Yeah, no, that's great. And you can see it for sure. Absolutely.
When you first start off, because I don't have a lot of education, you're always scared of embarrassing yourself. And you shouldn't worry about that. You should just worry about banging out the process and leave it up to the editors.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what?
I definitely feel that way.
Well, and the other thing is too, is that like when we get your manuscripts, they're pretty clean. You know what I mean? Like there's not a lot of stuff that we have to really go in and revise. Like when I read through your books, I'm not changing your voice. We're not changing anything. You know, there's been explicit instructions to leave that alone and just look for spelling and grammar and all that kind of stuff, right? So I think that's really important to keep the author voice, because what happens is that as a publisher, everything seems to be sounding like you and what you want. And I really strive to give you guys the creative freedom to be who you are as authors and to write those stories that show up on the page that are authentic, you know, because the last thing I want to do is stifle creativity. And I feel like that's something where, you know, you wouldn't be happy if you had to go through the process of saying, you know what, here's my book, I'm giving it up for a royalty, I don't have any say in this type of thing. I don't think that would have worked.
No.
Right?
No, and you're absolutely fabulous for that.
Thank you.
You let me I don't want to second guess when I'm writing to go, okay, is this what they would want? No, it should always be about what the writer wants, unless it's really too far out there.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. No, I agree 100%. And I think the biggest thing is too, is that when we're doing this process together, you really have to be aware of who the writer is, just as much as who the characters are. What do you feel about that?
Yes. I completely agree. Yeah, I have as much trust in you as I do in myself, because we are that team. Yeah,
it is a team effort, isn't it? For sure. So what do you think that, could you shed some light on some advice for other authors? What do you struggle with the most?
I have to keep reminding myself, it's a first draft. Don't beat yourself up.
Absolutely.
I think that is absolutely, and like I said, I'm in book 16, and I still catch myself saying, it doesn't need to be perfect first draft.
Yeah.
I normally do 5 or 6 drafts before I send it to you.
Absolutely. And you know what? That's the thing too. The thing is, Tim, is that you can really you're at the point as a seasoned author who's able to sit with that work and just leave it alone. Do you find that that's a difficult thing to do in terms of, you know, if where you started looking at your manuscript and saying, oh, I should have changed this, I should have changed that, I'm going to do this. There's such a thing as over editing, right? So that being said, how do you leave that alone, and how do you let the work kind of speak for itself?
you have to walk away and go, okay, next book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you just literally have to put it...
The game in hockey, on to the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So that being said, what do you love the most about the characters that you've created? I'm going to get you to sum that up in like one sentence. What do you think is the most prolific or the most important thing that you're doing with your characters that absolutely brings them to life, and what do you love about them? You just have to pick one.
Realism.
The realism? Yeah, the authenticity.
Yeah. You know, I've watched a bunch of movies where, like, say, Rambo.
Uh-huh.
He will fight off soldiers, and he'll do and he never gets tired.
Yeah.
And you have to write realistic. He's not going to win every battle, right? Mitch will fall, as we know in certain books. He does fall. He falls hard in some books.
I feel like that is something that's so important to create that realism and to not have everything with a happy ending with rainbows and sprinkles and kittens and all that kind of stuff, because that obviously doesn't lend to your series. But I hate predictability. And with yours, I can't believe how many times you've shocked me with endings or deaths or things that have happened. And that's what I really appreciate about you as an author, is the rawness and realness of it all.
Thank you.
So do you...
appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you feel that, you know, I know that you don't watch a lot of TV other than sports and things like that, I think, right? So there was a time where you told me when you were writing this series that you didn't kind of want anything to infiltrate that. So there were stories or series and TV shows and things like that you stayed away from because you didn't want that kind of seeping into your own work. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sons of Anarchy.
Okay.
Because there is a lot of biker stuff. I didn't want any of that stuff in me at all.
Right.
No, I want all my thoughts, original thoughts. Now, I can use real-life timelines. In book 16, it's not really spoiler alert, but the Croatian independent movement bombed the bank in New York City on St. Patrick's Day.
Mm-hmm.
So I could use a real-life event and how it's going to incorporate into the story.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and I love that. And let's talk about the research that you do. What do you say about credibility for authors? How important is that?
I think it's the most important thing, because if the reader loses confidence in me, you'll never get him back.
Right.
The character, he may have a wrong thought, but your timeline has to be spot on. Real life events have to be true. But he may be, like I say, he can make mistakes himself.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the other thing is, in 16 books in a series, like, we're not talking about simple word counts here. We're not talking about novella length type of books. We are talking about, 80,000, 90,000 words. And how hard is it to trim? Let's talk about that. And do you find yourself wanting to be able to trim those necessary places, or do you feel like you could go on, and how do you choose what to get rid of?
So what in the past is I've done copy and paste of scenes that maybe I could use in another book.
Okay.
Or perhaps, it's good, but it's not good enough for this book. I've always been lucky. Right now I'm around 55,000 words. I have 4 major league scenes to do to finish 16. So you're basically looking 6,000 words, 5,000 words, and you'll decide. And plus, when you're re-editing, you're going to get rid of some words. You may have to add some words anyways. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. So the other thing is, too, is 16 books into the series, are you happy with how things have wrapped up?
Static.
Good. Because why?
I think realistically, I'll probably end up around 20 books.
Okay.
19. Because watching Mitch evolve, non-real spoiler alert, but the involvement with him and Katrina.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I'm having so much fun reuniting them as a father and daughter.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what's really funny is that you can tell that you're a dad from that writing, because that definitely hits close to home, and I really enjoy their moments together where you see that relationship built. So let's talk about Mitch's character arc. Where did he start and how far has he come without giving anything away?
Well, his father always says you learn respect with the brawn. His mother always says you earn respect with your brain. He had finally learned how to use both.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really excellent way to sum it up. I absolutely love that. So I think that, being an author for as long as you have been, what's the one thing that you've learned that has really stuck with you during your entire author journey to now?
Just from research, learning so much about so many different timelines, the Lakota Sioux, the Vietnam War.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really dug just getting into the whole hip thing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now, let's talk about immortalizing characters. I know recently you've talked to me about, making people in your life immortal through your work. How special is that to you?
Yes. It's especially for Doug. He will live forever.
Yeah, and I think that's
Doug
so
will live
wonderful.
forever.
Right?
Yeah, Tom Barth, who really helped me. He's the one that gave me the total confidence. I made him a character. He will live forever.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. It just bringing them back to life.
Yeah.
It just makes me feel good. And I picture them looking at me going, yeah, not bad. I like it.
That's so good.
Yeah, it just makes me feel good.
That's awesome. So listen, let's talk about music and how that influences your creative process. Can you talk about that?
Sure. Has Used Fish is my favorite band. But what I do is I listen to Fish it's all melodic Fish. There's no lyrics that different people have spliced together. Or I listen to different movie soundtracks. The Thin Red Line, Zero Dark 30, they are great for getting me into it. Now, if I'm writing a kill scene where I have to get really amped up, Black Sabbath, Judas Priest. Music is definitely... I cannot write up music. Mm-hmm. Some people, they need the silence. I need the music because it just gets me onto that, to the elevator.
Yeah, and it flows. It helps with the creative flow process, right?
Melodic flow is when you're doing work outside, you listen to music and you get more work done.
Yeah. Actually, there's scientific evidence that supports like binaural beats and how the brain actually responds to certain sounds and what you can expect like sensationally from those sounds, which is super cool. But that's a whole other discussion for another day. So we've got a little bit of time left, but I do want to ask you, can we talk about kind of like what you're working on or ideas that you have for the future without like giving anything away? And if you're comfortable talking about that, because I'm really excited.
Well, someone asked me to write a book. It's because they said I could write dark and deep, I think were the exact words. It will be a one-off.
Yeah.
And I'm to it. There'll be a lot of history involved, and I'm looking forward to the challenge because it's a totally different character.
Yeah,
totally different than Mitch.
Okay, so that
Mitch
actually
was raised to be a warrior.
Yeah, yeah. Now here's the other thing too, because you have written obviously in a male voice as your male protagonist, but you do have female characters. How difficult is that to switch gears and write from a female perspective?
It's almost like as if they're channeled through me, and I try to make sure that each female character is different than the other ones.
Yeah. So you give them their own voice.
Just, right. And I don't really like... Yes, and I don't like the damsels in distress. There's a couple along the way, but Mitch realizes, don't need that. He likes strong women, like he's strong them.
Yeah, you know what? I've always heard, if she's a handful, then your hands aren't big enough.
Yes.
Right. So that being
Yes.
said, do you think that you're talking about your one-off here with that book that, we talked about and things like that, but do you think that there's more stories out there for when you finish the Mitch Strongbow series? Like, I know you have other things lined up, but is there something that you're really looking forward to doing other than the one that we just talked about? Are you going to be taking a break? Are you going to be, not necessarily going in with a mindset of another series? Like you said, this is going to be a one-off, but let's talk about that.
I don't think I would ever want to stop writing. I don't want to lose that passion.
Good.
Being read, you have to keep the brain active.
Yes.
It's very, very important. Speaking of active, can you excuse me for 2 minutes, please?
Yes.
I just have to go to the washroom.
No problem.
1 second, please.
Sure.
Cue the fish music, everybody listen to, everybody.
We have no fish music. So what I'm going to do is I am going to let Tim take his break for a second, and then we'll be right back. But in the meantime, I'm just going to be back for 1 second myself, okay? Yeah, coming. Sorry that I locked you out. Sorry about that.
You guys on break right now?
Just for a second. Okay, we're back. And we're just waiting for Tim. He'll be back in a second. But in the meantime, I just want to let you know that there are new titles coming out. We have Kennedy Kerr's series, Swift Kids Mysteries, which is a great middle grade novel. And that is already out. And we're going to be checking the rankings to see how that book is doing. And I think that we're going to have another bestseller on our hands. So you can get that on Amazon, and it will also be uploaded to our website as well. There is All the Best Dragons Are Readers. So that's coming out soon as well. There have been a little bit of delays with orders and things like that in terms of some technical things on the printing side, but we're getting those sorted out. So we're back with Tim. Let me just flip you around here. Okay, hi. All good.
Okay.
All right, so do you remember what we were talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
That's okay. So it was the kind of the one-off thing and not, continuing your work and keeping the brain active.
Yeah. I like to write a hockey book, at least one hockey book. I think if you write about something that you're passionate about, you'll do well. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean in terms of sales, I mean in the of self-fulfillment.
Yeah.
Which every writer, talk to other writers, have to write for yourself. Don't write for money. Write for yourself.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
You're a person in the world yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How is...
Looking forward to that. Go ahead.
How has traveling inspired your writing?
There's just something magical about when we cruise the water. I did the whole outline of book, I think it was 12, on a 7-day cruise.
Wow.
I've never been, it's because I'm a Pisces, or if it's the water, or you're on vacation.
Yeah.
Whatever reason, when I'm traveling, when I'm flying, I have stuff come to me. When I'm on a train, I have stuff come to me. But also at the gym, I have a lot of come to me.
Yeah, that's awesome. So those are
my friends at the gym. If all of a sudden see me get evil smile to me, really, really good.
Awesome.
But I never break up my phone at the gym because I hate people. That's one of my biggest personal pet peeves.
Yeah.
People that do that. So if you're told young writers, I don't believe you should keep a notepad because you will never get back to sleep. If it's that good, you will remember. I believe, or me.
Yeah, and I mean, every author has their different little method and things of doing things and their beliefs that they have for sure. Yeah, Absolutely.
I'm a nighttime writer. I write during the but I'll do my research in the daytime.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, you know what, Tim, it's always a pleasure having you. Thank you so much for being here. And we're going to share this on our YouTube and on our Facebook, and we'll make sure to tag in that so you can share. And if you're not following Tim on Instagram or Facebook, then make sure that you are, because he always has some really great posts and what he's working on and all of that kind of stuff. So make sure that you're following him on his social media, and follow us, Pandemonium Publishing House, as well. So we're going to say bye to Tim now. Thank you so much for joining us, and we're so glad that you're part of our team, Tim.
1 second.
Yes.
Go Jays, go.
Oh, yeah. Canadian
Go, Jays,
Yankees
go.
fan here, so that's a shot through the heart. But listen, I am rooting for you, okay? You know how I feel about...
With all the turmoil,
Huh?
with all the turmoil country right now, we really
I
need to
know,
support
I
them.
know. We do need it, and I really do hope that they win, because, I mean, I'd rather see them win than LA, and I'm really, not invested, but go Canada go, for sure. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much, Tim. It's always a pleasure. Talk to you
Thank you for having
soon.
me.
Okay.
And all the work you do for me.
Oh my goodness, it's a pleasure.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks so much,
Bye.
everybody, for being here and for having this wonderful conversation with author Tim Ford. I'm so excited that he was here, and everybody in the comments is saying, bye, Dad. Hi, Lacey. Go, Jays, go. Bye, Dad. Love you. Nice podcast, all that kind of stuff. So that's really great that you're interacting with this post, and I hope that we'll get this up on YouTube soon, as well as Facebook. Make sure you follow us on all of our social channels. Everybody have a great night. Thanks so much.